Okay, if there was ever a time to talk about resourcing, I think it would probably be in the thick of a global pandemic. So I am excited today to talk about, all the creative ways that I have had to try, some with success and some not so much, with my EMDR clients the past 10 months. And really, the way that I've resourced with them hasn't just expanded, it's almost like exploded. And I wanted to come back on here and share that with all of you. So I want to talk today about how we're able to not only find and enhance these adaptive memory networks with resourcing, but we are actually able to build new ones in real time to help our clients during the pandemic. There's always a resource, always, and we have to just know where to look. Okay, so for those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Cambria Evans, and I am the Teaching and Learning EMDR Consultant with a private practice in San Jose, California. I'm here to guide my fellow EMDR clinicians to a place of confidence, not just with EMDR clients, but also with the success of your EMDR practice. It has to be both. Right? Both are part of your life and important. I'm excited to talk to you today about resourcing during the pandemic in a way that hopefully decomplicates a lot of the noise around this topic, and just really focusing on what makes sense. So let's rock and roll with this. So I did make a video about resourcing like a brain surgeon back in the summer of 2020. And in that video, I really wanted to talk about, what is a resource? What's the purpose of a resource, and how are resources used? So if you haven't seen that video yet, you're welcome to go on my YouTube channel and check that out. It's called How to Resource Like a Brain Surgeon. It's about customizing resources for a specific target. Okay. And in that video, I reviewed a couple things. One was the difference between kind of an external resource and an internal resource. And I can briefly describe what that is now. So an external resource is like the calm place, right? It's external. It can be imagined. It can be real. A lot of the nurturing figures, protective figures, calm figures with Laurel Parnell, those are all external resources, right? That we call in to be with us to help our bodies and our emotions feel differently, to feel better, right? Because we can feel like a felt sense of either those people or figures or places. So all those figures and places also have, they have an image, they have an emotion, oftentimes they have a body sensation that goes with them, and they also have a positive cognition, right? So similarly, when we have an internal resource, which is great for those of us who don't like to imagine something that's not real. If we have an internal resource, we are able to notice like our character traits. We're able to call on, with like resource development installation, RDI, we're able to call on real experiences that we have had, where we have felt really strong or really brave, or whatever the feeling is or the trait is that we want to feel or embody now, right? We can use RDI for all of that. So we talked about those differences in the video back in the summer. And, a lot of us have clients who really benefit from RDI because it is so tangible. And we have, like I had a client who was loving mountain biking. And he had so many memories of mountain biking. So RDI was amazing for him. He was really able to benefit from that. In this video last summer, we talked a lot about when do we do resourcing, right? We talked about how we do it in phase 2 as part of assessment. We have clients go practice at home. And then we also can call in resources during phase 4 when we're processing with BLS if people come out of the window of tolerance, right? Okay. So today we're kind of doing like a follow-up or a part 2 to that video. So now that we're all kind of caught up to speed, I want to talk to you today about, we're going to probably be doing a lot of virtual EMDR for another at least 6 months, hopefully not another 12 months, but we're still going to be doing lots of virtual EMDR. So I want to just name that. I know lots of us have been processing targets during the pandemic, which has helped a lot of our clients feel less disturbed about current events that are connected to past events. It's helped a lot of our clients feel like they have some movement and some progress, that we've been doing this virtual EMDR the past 10 months. It was tempting to just go into talk therapy back in March and April last year, and it was scary to pivot and transition into virtual EMDR, but we did it. We did it. But what I've noticed now is really interesting and has never happened before. So what I'm noticing now is that people are stuck in their houses. They are, really feeling capable of processing targets with me, which is great. They have confidence there. But I'm noticing some resource fatigue. Just like I'm noticing some just lack of resources or lack of choices available to our clients now, right? They're stuck in the house. Lots of us have the same routine. We can't really change a whole lot of things up. And if we do, they're pretty small. We can't get on airplanes. We can't go to Disneyland. We can't go to the amusement park, the movie theater. We can't go have dinner with a friend. We can't go to the movies. List goes on and on. So there's a lot of sense of restriction. And I think that has created a lot of fatigue and monotony with people's choices of how they can feel good, right? So I'm noticing that a lot of the resources that my clients established, 6 months ago or a year ago, feel different. Yeah, they still feel good, but I've heard comments like, Cambria, I'm a little bored of my nurturing figure, right? Don't let her hear or hear me say that. But I'm getting kind of bored of calling my grandma in all the time. I need a bigger hit. I need to have diversification of feeling, because my life is just so vanilla. And I get that. I get that to my core. I am restless. My life feels very small. I feel very safe, and thank God my family still has, not gotten COVID, and we're committed to that not happening. But there's just not a lot of interesting emotional experiences that are pleasant happening to us. Conversely, there's lots of emotional experiences happening to us that feel really hard, right? So I'm going to talk about this way I've been resourcing with my clients during the pandemic at this point, now that we're at, 10 or 11 months of being essentially sheltered most of the time. Going to talk a little bit about this, this point of, when are the resources I've already installed just not helpful anymore to the client? Now what am I supposed to do, right? I don't think we've ever been in this place before, so this is just a creative idea that I've seen work in my practice, and you're welcome to try it, right? It's not going to hurt. And as always, my hope and my goal for myself and for all of you is that you will listen to ideas. You will listen to ideas for, techniques and protocols, and there's lots of wonderful information out there. But at the end of the day, my hope for you, for me, for all of us, is that you trust yourself. That the way I want to talk to you about this, I want it to be grounded and anchored in your ability to do clinical reasoning and understand how this makes sense and why, and understand how to apply it to clients in your practice, which is different than just taking this from me and kind of shaking your head okay, I'll go do this. I want you to understand why I think this is working so well in my practice, okay? Because the more confidence you have in your clinical reasoning ability is a different feeling in your body than I know all the clinical competence I can digest, at this, all you can eat buffet of EMDR content, right? That I think we're all feeling kind of full. Okay. So getting back to this question of, how do I resource people who are sick of their resources, don't have the ability to go out into the world and create interesting experiences for themselves. And this can be for clients who are processing trauma targets and those who aren't. This can be for either one, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. So Like I said at the beginning of this, there's always a resource for you, always. Okay? We have to just know where to look. So this has been in my mind for many weeks as I've been hearing like a lot of my clients say these things to me. And I had this epiphany where, if we have already kind of done an inventory of adaptive and maladaptive memory networks, and we've picked our resources, if we've kind of already picked what's there, then we can make new ones. And we can make them in real time, which is what we're usually able to do when we go out in the world, right? We're building more adaptive memory networks when I take my family to the beach and we have a really great day digging our toes in the sand, and right? So, but if the beach is closed in California because of COVID, we can't do that. So I was thinking to myself, what's the workaround here? Like, there's got to be a way to not feel so trapped around this, right? So I was thinking about this, and I was also noticing the feeling state addiction protocol, which I think is by Robert Miller. And what we know from the feeling state addiction protocol is that every single choice or behavior that we put out into the world, every single one, is connected to a desired feeling state, isn't it? Right? So typically this protocol is used with addiction, right? We're identifying the behavior, the drinking, what's the feeling state you're hoping to achieve. I want to feel like I belong, right? So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, I can't go do the things I used to do. But everything I used to do was trying to give me a feeling state. Okay, so I'm always working towards reaching a feeling state. But how can I go back and look at the behavior and be creative there? Okay, let me say more. Let me use an example. So I have many healthcare workers in my practice, as I've shared in previous podcasts, and these are the soldiers of now. I say this respectfully. My husband is a Marine veteran. They are the soldiers of now, and they have been going into battle day after day without enough supplies, without enough hope or leadership or organization or medicine. I mean, it's just incredible what they've been going through. And they don't have a lot of energy or space to like take off of work and go do something fun, right? The experience that one of the nurses I was working with was having was that she said to me, Cambria, my work experience is so out of control. It is so overwhelming. I can't even describe to you what I'm having to do every day for 11 months, okay? I'm so out of control. I feel so out of control. I'm so sick of it. And calling in my nurturing figure isn't helping me right now. I said, I hear you 110%. I'm with you. I get it. Let's figure it out, okay? We can always figure it out. I said to her, thinking of the feeling state addiction protocol, I said to her, what's the feeling state you most wish you could feel right now? And she said, I just want to feel like I'm in control of something. And that was the gold nugget that allowed us to follow creative ideas about, well, where can you be in control? Where can you have the feeling of being in control? Well, not at work. Not really when I'm driving because I can't control other drivers. Okay, let's just keep going. Work, not with my dog. My dog's a puppy. She's all over the place. Okay, let's think of one thing you could do where you feel completely in control the entire time. And guess what she chose to do? She built an adaptive memory network in real time. She chose to paint her bedroom. She got to control the color. She got to control how many coats. She got to control when she started, when she stopped. She got to control the music that she played when she was painting. She got to control every single thing. about this real experience, right? We didn't have to go back in time and pull up times that she felt like she was in control. She got to physically be in an experience where she knew ahead of time, I'm in control. We talked about this, right? This was her homework. So she went and did this with this intention, with this understanding that she wanted to create this positive feeling state for herself, right? She came back into session and said, I painted the room. It's beautiful. It's the yellow color. And it's okay, fantastic. So what did we do? We did a resource development installation right after she painted it. And it was huge. It was huge how we could it was because it was right there. It was just right on the front burner. We could just grab it, expand it, exaggerate it, and it was right there for her. Okay? So this is doing a real-time resource development installation where the client actually knows ahead of time because they have collaborated with you to co-create this with an intention, which, by the way, also this entire process with me also gave her a sense of being in control. Make sense? It was really powerful. Now, another example of a creative way that I've been resourcing is with a mom. And as a fellow mom, I feel for all the moms that I support. Oh, moms. I'm so sorry. Things are so hard right now. I promise it'll get better soon. But this mom was just feeling so unappreciated and so unseen and so tired. And I asked her the same question. I said, what do you want to feel right now? If you could pick any feeling, what would feel the best, most adaptive for you? She said, I want to feel appreciated. I want to feel seen. Okay, perfect. So with this client, we could not give her a real-time experience where she was being appreciated, right? I did that with her, of course, and we did a little bit of BLS around that. But the people that she wanted to appreciate her husband and her kids, they just were not available for that. Her kids were too little. Her husband's just burnt out. His work was crazy. It wasn't available to her. So what did we do? Right? We were looking for the resource. It's always there somewhere. So I said, okay, let's do almost like a future template modified a little bit. Let's just have you close your eyes. I want you to imagine what it would look like if these people appreciated you. Okay? So she walked me through, with the BLS, she walked me through her kids making her all these cards, right? Setting up all their toys to have a party for her in the living room. Her husband remembered her favorite cake, her favorite type of spaghetti sauce, all these details. Her husband and everyone did all these things and came together and just said all of these words of affirmation to her, right? So she had all the love languages. She had physical touch and hugs from them appreciating her. She had gifts, right, with the food and the cake. Words of affirmation. Wow, we see how hard this has been for you. I just asked her, go ahead and play in your mind. What do you want to hear? What are the words you want to hear the most right now? What are the words they could say or the things they could do to give you the highest level, 10 out of 10, feeling appreciated, seen, important, loved? Okay? She took her time, and you could just see her body appreciating this resource because she wasn't going to get it at home. It wasn't going to happen, right? So 2 different kinds of resourcing. One, we're doing it in real time and building it in real life with painting the room with the intention ahead of time of this is what I'm doing for myself with control. And the second idea of playing out this almost like this fantasy of here's how I wish I could feel with these people. Here's how I wish they would respond to me. Okay. Now I will say, for the second idea, that's more of a fantasy and play it out and what would you need. This actually does a couple of things. Actually, they both do a couple of things. One, it helps the client connect with themselves, with what they are needing, and what they need to hear or see in their experience, which is important, okay? Because for people that are really burnt out, like healthcare workers and moms, oftentimes there's no space to do that, okay? It also allows them to have space to notice any grief that might come up, right? And then to process that grief, okay, to target it. So with this mom, it did feel good to her. The exercise felt good. And she noticed a part of her that was really sad that couldn't happen right now. So we did a little processing around that, just with standard protocol around her grieving, that she wanted people to show up for her to help her, but they couldn't do it. They didn't have the capacity for that. And it had nothing to do with her deserving it or not deserving it. It was just the way things are right now, right? I oftentimes will tell couples who, especially with young kids, I'll say, you want your partner to show up for you and affirm you and support you, and he wants that from you. You're both almost like hanging off the edge of a cliff, right? For dear life right now. And you want the other person to reach out and help you. But if they reach up, they're going to fall. Okay? This is where most people are right now with COVID and the pandemic, right? We're all kind of just holding on for dear life. And if we reach out, right, we're going to slip and fall. We just don't have it. We don't have it to give. Okay? So any grief that comes up from, the things they can't get, right? So this nurse, I'm sad I don't have control at work right now. We can process that, and we can resource you feeling in control. The mom who feels unappreciated, she can process the grief of not feeling that way at the house, and she can go into this fantasy resource of what would it be like? Your wildest dreams of being appreciated right now. Let's just let you be in that emotional experience just for a couple minutes, okay? Ultimately, I think what's really cool about doing this is that clients get to understand that they always, somewhere in their brain with your facilitation, they can always get to a place where they can give themselves what they need the most. And y'all, that is literally being an adult. I mean, that is a high level of adulting right there, right? That we can give ourselves the things that someone else can't give when we recognize that we need them, grieve what we can't get from others, and then say, but I'm still going to be able to get some pieces of this from me somewhere in my brain, right? Or somewhere in my life when I paint a room, or somewhere in my fantasy, my imagination, somewhere I can find the words and the gestures that I want to help me feel differently, to feel better, right? I will say that I will share a personal example, actually. So recently, I'm sure many of you had this experience, but I had a full client day, and it happened to be the same day that the Capitol building was stormed. And it was a really hard day to be a therapist because I was being asked to support my clients again during an active crisis. How many times do we have to do this for the last year, you guys? I don't want to be a crisis therapist, okay? I want to be a trauma therapist where the trauma is done. But I was a crisis therapist. There was an active trauma happening on TV. We're all, checking in and holding space for my clients, trying to compartmentalize what was happening for me. And it was a long day, lots of emergency sessions, lots of healthcare workers kind of unraveling. And I didn't get home and settled into my house until like 8:30 or 9 o'clock that night, which is really late. I'm usually home for dinner with my kids. And I got home, and I kind of just for the first time that day, was like, what the hell happened today? Okay. And we're sheltered in place. I turned to my husband and I'm like, process this with me. And my husband is an amazing man. My husband was a Marine. He was a helicopter pilot. He now works in tech, but he said to me, he said, Cam, I have been processing this all day. I just don't have any brain space, or like, I don't have any words left. Like he said, you're in a different space of processing than I am. Like, you're just now in a space to start. He's like, I'm in a space where I need to pause and be quiet and maybe go to sleep, because I just put the kids to bed by myself, and 4-year-olds are scary. So it was a moment of noticing I had limited resources and support, and feeling sad that, he wasn't available. He just wasn't. He was fried. And I really needed someone to process this with me and comfort me and help me even just develop a narrative of what happened. So, this is adulting. This is what adulting really is, right? And so what did I do? I went and sat in the hot tub by myself because he needed to be alone. And I just literally closed my eyes and I just imagined what he would say to me, right? This is a lot. This is overwhelming. This was a hard day. We don't have to figure it all out right now. I love you. We're going to figure it out together. We're safe, right? And of course, these were all the things he said to me first thing in the morning when we both got some rest and some REM sleep. He was recharged to give me some of this, right? But we are able to use our imaginations. We are able to use all sorts of things to resource ourselves when we want to feel a feeling that we initially think we don't have access to. So if you're interested in learning more about how to creatively resource your clients no matter what, because I really think we're living in this no matter what space right now, I would invite you to check out the lesson plan. There's a link below about that. If you like this free resource and you want more, you can subscribe to Zero Disturbance for more free videos and downloads. I'm going to keep making videos every week through COVID and beyond. This has been such a joy for me to speak with you and connect with you and to feel like I'm helping my people, my EMDR clinicians, through this really impossible time. And on that note about adulting and it being a hard time, it's just a hard time to be a human with a nervous system that is constantly being poked while we're trying to hold space for other people and really having to compartmentalize ourselves a lot of the day with our clients. And we've been doing this now for 10 or 11 months. And I wanted just to share that, I have my crispy days where I'm fried and burnt out. I have my days where I'm over it. I have my days where I'm just like depressed and I just want to lay in my bed in my sweatpants and just not deal with the world. And I just wanted to say that no matter what kind of day you are having today, I just want you to know that if you're listening to this right now, if you care enough to be with this message, not just for your clients, but for yourself, then you are the freaking most amazing EMDR therapist ever. Truly, your clients are blessed to have you in their lives. You're doing the good work. You are fighting the good fight. Okay. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of us, you guys. This is just, there's no words, but I'm so proud of you. And I just want to say thank you. If nobody else sees you and is appreciating you, know that I get it and I do. And you're amazing. So thank you for listening. I hope this felt helpful today. You're welcome to email me with any questions or comments or feedback, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below. In the meantime, please be safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to connecting next time. Take care.